كلمتان حبيبتان إلى الرحمن خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Come on guys, wake up. I know it's Saturday morning. Assalamu alaikum. This side is not bad. Assalamu alaikum. No man. And one more time. Assalamu alaikum. The students are the quietest. Come on, students, you should be the loudest. Assalamu alaikum. There we go. Okay, Bismillah. So today's workshop is all about how to lead a productive lifestyle. And what we'll be covering today is a lot of tech practical ways to lead a healthy, productive, positive lifestyle. We'll talk about things about what is productivity, what is not productivity. We'll talk about how to manage your energy, how to manage your focus, how to manage your time, how to beat that annoying thing called procrastination. How do you set up habits and behaviors? And most importantly, how to be productive every single day of your life. So there'll be a lot of practical tips we'll share together, inshallah ta'ala. But my promise to you is that I will do my absolute best performance for you today. I've been delivering this workshop in over 12 countries, and this is my 13th country now. Make sure this is the best performance I've ever made anywhere else in the world. That's my promise to you. But your promise to me is that you will engage and ask me as many questions as you possibly can. Make me walk out of this room like so sweating from all the questions I'm receiving. So I want you to question, ask, I want you to raise your hand, I want you to shout out. This is not going to be a lecture for a whole day. It's not going to be one of those boring lectures. I want you guys to engage with me. I want you guys to ask questions and be part of this, inshallah ta'ala. Deal? We got a deal? Sure? All right, let's get started, inshallah ta'ala. So while the screens will come up, don't worry about the screens. They'll come up soon, inshallah ta'ala. So if I were to ask you, why are you here? Why did you come? You came on a Saturday morning. You could be doing a million things other than to come here. Why did you come here? Yes, please. So you want to become productive. Why? Why you be exemplary? Why? Okay, so you inspire others. Okay, let's go a little bit in the back here. So, why are you here? Why did you come here? This table, yes please. Why? That's because I want to. Come on, there's supposed to be another reason. Come on, give me another reason. Why? What really drove you to come here? Okay, and why is that important? Why? Keep pushing. Keep going deeper. Why? Why are you here? Yes, please. So you want to utilize your time best possible way. Why? Okay, and why is that important then? Dig deeper. Why? Dig deeper, dig deeper. You're here for a reason. Come on, why? Okay, but why is that important? And then why? Why is that important? Okay, very close, very close. Someone in this student group, come on. Why are you guys here? I know your school sent you, but that's a different story. But why are you guys here? Learn what? Why is that important? Sorry? It helps in daily life, okay, and why is that important? What will you walk out of here today thinking like, wow, this will help me in daily life do what? Okay, lead better life, okay. Getting close, yep. Okay, being productive is one word. Why is that important? And why is that important? Okay, very close. Very, very close. Okay. I'm going to assume that you're here to be happy. You're here to be happy. Why? Because, think about it. When you are productive, when you get things done, when you finish things on time, when you balance between your home, your work, your family, your social activities, when you're able to focus and get some real good work results out, when you're able to develop spiritually and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of that will make you happy. Am I right? Does it make sense? That's the ultimate reason. Productivity is not about just learning some techniques. Okay, I manage my time properly. Okay, I'll be able to, do some tics. I learn some skills. It's really about being able to live a fulfilled life. Being able to live a meaningful life. That is the purpose of being productive. Because if you're not productive, what's the opposite of being productive? What's the opposite? Sorry? Unproductive, right? What does that mean? What does it look like? Basically, you become a couch potato. You sit for hours contemplating on why your life is so miserable and then being annoyed about it. So, being productive is actually linked to happiness. And there's a great saying that says that we take no pleasure in existence except when we're striving after something. A lot of us, sometimes we go to a beautiful beach vacation, go somewhere really nice, maybe you go to, I don't know, Zanzibar or somewhere very beautiful, we're sitting on the beach, we're just chilling there on the beach, and then first day we're really excited, it's so nice and warm and beautiful, second day we're really excited, third day we're like, it's getting boring, I'm bored. 3 days on the beach, just sitting on the beach doing nothing. I'm kind of bored. I want to do something. So you start going to town, you start doing the other things, but unless you're striving after something, you will get bored. And that's why you hear people who are extremely rich, who have everything, they're bored because nothing is driving them if they don't set goals for themselves. And this connects down to our own purpose in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created us, He says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created mankind and jinn except to worship me. And He's created us, we're called in the Quran, the word used, abd or ya'bud, means to become a slave to Him. And the role of a slave is to serve the master. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our master. So when we as slaves to Allah just sit back and do nothing, absolutely wasting our time, we're not fulfilling our purpose. And when we're not fulfilling our purpose, we become unhappy. We become sad, we become frustrated, we become depressed, we become suicidal. We start looking for pleasure anywhere else. We're looking for pleasure in everything but what is meaningful. So when we connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we fulfill our role, it's like if I use this laptop and I use this laptop for what is not its purpose, it's just not going to give me what it's supposed to give me. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us for a purpose, and that is to worship Him. And the word worship is not about just praying and fasting and doing hajj, but worship meaning everything you do it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the meaning of productivity that we want to drive. It's the idea that everything you do, from the moment you wake up until you sleep, whether it's work, whether it's studying, whether it's being with your family, whether it's helping in the community, whether it's volunteering, everything is connected to your sole purpose of being a slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and serving your true master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what we want to teach. That is the essence of why we're here. Any questions so far? I remember your promise to me, you will ask me questions. Any questions so far? Okay, if there's no questions, move forward. Okay, so how do we develop an attitude of productivity? How do we move from being, let's say, just don't really care, I don't care about being productive, I'm happy as I am, and now we want to develop an attitude of being productive? We need to develop 4 main senses. The first sense is, we mentioned earlier, a sense of purpose. There should be something that's driving us. For example, if you're a student and you say to yourself, you know what, I really, really, really want to become a doctor, or engineer, or lawyer, or entrepreneur, or businessman, or marketing agency, or anything you really want to do, that sense of purpose will drive you and make you study harder. But if you're like, I really don't care, I'm here in school because I'm in school, I just want to get the grades and go to university and just chill out. If there's no sense of purpose, it will not drive you. Some people have the sense of purpose, hey, my sense of purpose is I want to make my parents happy. My sense of purpose is I want to get straight A's. My sense of purpose, a sense of purpose is anything that drives you towards a specific goal. And that will make you productive. If there is no sense of purpose, if you have no idea why you're doing something, right? If I tell you today, come on, okay, everyone stand up, go to next table, and then everyone stand up, go next, and I make you guys go on a merry-go-round for like half an hour. After half an hour, you guys are like, what are you doing? I'm not moving anymore. Because you're like, what's the point? What is the reason behind this activity? We are driven by why. If there's no why in our lives, if there's no sense of purpose in our lives, it becomes very, very hard for us to become productive. And the ultimate sense of purpose, the ultimate purpose, as I mentioned earlier, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because every purpose other than worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very limited. For example, I could say my sense of purpose is I want to run $1 million company. Okay, great. One day after 10 years, I achieve $1 million company. Now what? Oh, okay. My sense of purpose is to have a big house. Okay, fine. I get a big house. Now what? My sense of purpose is to have a big family. Okay, I have a big family. Now what? My sense of purpose is to, I'm stuck. Right? After a while, you're stuck because you haven't connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you say, my sense of purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is going to be with you from now until you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's never going to stop. You'll never reach a point saying, okay, I'm done worshiping Allah. I've reached the point where I've done. There's always more you could do. There's always more you can strive for. Any questions on this first one, sense of purpose? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. You need to ask questions. This is your workshop. You paid to come here and spend the whole day. Ask your questions. I'm going to be leaving tomorrow, so ask your questions today. Anything you're not sure about, raise your hand. Don't feel shy. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Just ask your questions away. Okay, next one is a sense of urgency. If you want to become productive, the next thing you want to do is have a sense of urgency. Something that's, it's like, if I know, oh my God, okay, it's okay, I have till 60, 70 years old to get my goals done, then I'll feel relaxed. But if you have a sense of urgency that I don't have enough time, there's not much time left, I don't know when I'm going to die, I don't know if I'm going to achieve these goals, there's an urgency that's driving you. There's a sense of urgency that's pushing you, that says we need to get this done now, otherwise we will not achieve our goals. A sense of urgency is what should keep you going. It's like the fire that's underneath you that makes you achieve your goals faster. So without a sense of urgency, you'll be too relaxed. Without a sense of urgency, you say, oh, it's okay, nothing to worry about, and your goals will not be achieved. But a sense of urgency will make you feel like, I need to make this happen. There's no time. I don't know if I'll live till tomorrow, and I'll make sure that I want to get this done. So a sense of urgency drives your productivity. The third one, a sense of gratitude. Meaning, when you realize how much you are blessed, how much Allah has given you, you've been given, first of all, given eyes and nose and body and a healthy family, inshallah, and so many blessings. Even if you're in trouble, even if you have disability, even if you have difficulties in life, even if you have family, even if your family is broken down, everyone has a million blessings that we don't count. So, how are you going to thank Allah? How are you going to thank God for those blessings? By sitting down and wasting time on Facebook? By just not being productive at all, not fulfilling your purpose in this life? By being a nobody, where no one really cares? Or by being somebody who strives and offers and helps and really thanks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thanks God for all the blessings He has been given. All the blessings she has been given. So a sense of gratitude makes you almost ashamed not to be productive. Because you realize, I can't just sit and waste my time. I can't just sit and not use my time in a productive pursuit. I can't just sit and completely waste my time. I gotta be productive. So a sense of gratitude helps you develop that sense of productivity. Last point is that you need a sense of service. Meaning that a sense of helping others. Prophet Muhammad said that the most beloved people to Allah, the most beloved people to God, is those who are most beneficial to others. So if you want to be someone who Allah loves, you need to be beneficial to others. You need to stop being selfish, me, myself, and I, and ask yourself, how can I help others? Whether it's helping your fellow students if you're in school, whether it's helping your fellow colleagues, whether it's helping your family, whether it's helping your community, a sense of service. And that takes productivity out of your own circle to those who are around you. A lot of productivity science that's been covered talks about how to get things done, how to achieve success in your own life. But what the productive Muslim model says, being productive not just for yourself, but for those who are around you as well. Being productive to those whom you're around as well. Any questions so far? These four senses develop a productive attitude. These four senses, when they come together, that's what will make you always think about being productive. But if you have no purpose in life, if you have no urgency in your life, if you're not a thankful person, and you don't care about other people, trust me, you will not be productive. You'll just live this, hedonistic lifestyle of just me, myself, and I, and not care about what's around you. But if you have a sense of purpose, a sense of urgency, a sense of gratitude, and a sense of service, that develops a productive attitude. Any questions so far? Yes, please. Good question. So the question was, sometimes you're pulled down because you don't feel appreciated or you don't feel the gratitude from those who are around you. Remember that these four senses are internal. They are the ones who brings that internal motivation. When you have your own sense of purpose, when you have your own sense of urgency, when you have a sense of gratitude to God and a sense of service, you will not wait for thank yous. You will not wait for someone to say thank you, because you know that you are here, your purpose is to worship God. Your urgency because you don't know how much time you have. You are being grateful to God for the blessings that He has given you. And you want to serve others not to receive a thank you or not just to get recognition, but you're serving others purely to please God. And that's why when someone told me, he said, if you wait for people, if you expect something from people, they will always disappoint you. If you expect from God, He will never disappoint you. So have a sense of service that's more of helping others, more about, I'm not waiting. That's why the verse in the Quran, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. That we are feeding you for the sake of Allah. We do not want from you a reward, and we do not want to thank you. That is the attitude of a productive Muslim person. We don't want gratitude, we don't want a reward. We're doing this purely for the sake of Allah. Great question, thank you for asking. Somebody else? Yes, please.
May tend to forget that we may set all those senses but end up forgetting them. How can we make ourselves well aware of the four senses every
Great,
time?
so we'll spend the whole day talking about that, inshallah. So the whole idea today is putting together a whole framework so that you can always consistently think about how to have a sense of purpose and urgency and gratitude and service, inshallah. So great question. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, we've all been told, before, that all actions begin by the intention you're having. So like in all those four senses you've given us, I would like to know what does the intention fall?
Yeah, very good. So intention comes under sense of purpose. Because when you have a sense of purpose, that's when you set your intentions, right? And we'll talk about intentions a lot today. We'll talk about how the power of intentions in boosting your productivity. Let's move on. So let's go through the basics of productivity. What are the basics of productivity? The first question, what is productivity? When you hear the word productivity, what comes to mind? I'm going to go to all the way to the back because I know the people at the back normally don't get as much attention. So what is productivity? This table. Anybody? I won't move away. What is productivity? Come on. What comes to mind? The word productivity. Yep.
I think it's input versus output. Input versus output.
Very good. That's actually a very accurate definition. Somebody else. We have other definitions. What is productivity? Yep.
Personally, I would say it's a sense of getting more from little.
Okay. So it's very similar, getting more output for the inputs you have. Okay. What is productivity? Yep.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is the state of being efficient.
Okay. Being efficient, which also comes down to making more output for the inputs you have. So yes, the industry definition is how much output, how much can I produce in the little time I have. For example, if I study 3 chapters today in 2 hours, and tomorrow I study 5 chapters in 2 hours, then that next day I'm more productive than the first day because I got more output for the same input. The same input was the number of hours. If I'm in a factory or I'm a business person and for some reason today I produced 10,000, plastic bags or 10,000, toys. And the next day my factory produced 20,000 toys. Same factory, same number of workers, same hours. Then that next day I was more productive than the first day. So productivity is about how much output you produce for the inputs you have. However, I personally don't like that definition. I find that definition really, really clinical, almost industrial. We're not machines, we're human beings. And therefore, the definition that I personally like is that productivity is the amount of energy you have times how much focus you have times how much time you have. What do I mean by this? For you to be productive, you need 3 things. You need energy. If you wake up in the morning, you're so tired. You haven't had breakfast, you didn't sleep properly, you're just so tired. You cannot be productive that day. It doesn't matter how much time you have, it doesn't matter how much focus you have, you're just so tired. Your energy levels are so low, you cannot be productive. Now imagine one day you woke up and you're buzzing with energy. You had a great breakfast, you went exercise, you slept really well, you're just buzzing with energy. But you're so distracted. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, people calling you, friends, colleagues, you're so distracted. You also cannot be productive. You might have all the energy in the world, but you're just so distracted, you're being pulled in a million different directions, and that reduces your productivity. So you might have a lot of energy, but you lack focus. Now let's say you have a lot of energy and you have a lot of focus, but you're overwhelmed with so much stuff you can't get them done. You have very little time. You have like 600 to-do lists and you only have 24 hours in a day. So you don't have enough time to get things done. Again, you cannot be productive. So you need all these three things. You need energy, you need focus, and you need time. Now, the good thing is about this that today we'll spend the whole day trying to figure out how do we increase our energy, how do we increase our focus, and how we manage our time better. That's how we're going to spend the whole day, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to go deeper in this definition. And this is a really helpful definition because if you ever feel that you're lazy one day, or you feel that you're unproductive for some reason, ask yourself, what am I missing? Am I feeling tired, like my energy is low? Then you look at the stuff, we will talk about energy levels. Is it because I'm so distracted, I have no focus? Or is it because I don't have time? Which one of these three which one of these three that I'm really being challenged with, and that's how you know how to unlock and improve your productivity. Now, I put a little caveat in brackets here, it says towards a beneficial goal. Because someone playing video games, they got energy, they got focus, and boy, they got time. So, but it's not really productive. It's not really towards a beneficial goal, except, killing that big boss in level 50, but nothing really beneficial comes out of it. So it says towards a beneficial goal, towards something that must be beneficial. Any questions on the definition? This is important, guys. This is how we'll define for the rest of our day how to be productive, because we'll spend a lot of time talking about energy, our spiritual energy, our physical energy, and then also talk about focus and our time as well. Any questions so far? Yep. Absolutely. And that's why, so the question is about the beneficial goal. I don't want to go into much, because for right now I'm giving it a general definition, but how we define beneficial goal, that's like a whole different workshop. But for now, at least saying, as long as something is beneficial, whether it's for you, for your family, for society, then it is productive. But if you want to go deeper into setting up goals and life goals, that's a different ballgame. But for now, say any beneficial goal, whether it's for yourself, whether it's getting good grades, whether it's helping a family, whether it's society, anything beneficial, that is considered, I'll say, it's productive. And inshallah, we'll come towards the end of the day and explain this in more detail, inshallah ta'ala, and put a little caveat. Any questions on the definition? Okay. In other words, productivity, a productive lifestyle, is all about making smart choices. Today you'll learn about what those smart choices are. What time should I sleep? What time should I wake up? When should I first check my phone? What should I eat? What should I not eat? What should I do to improve my focus? How should I manage my time? Making smart choices. Because these smart choices, when you do them continuously, it will boost your energy, it will boost your focus, it will boost your time, and guess what will happen? You will start achieving so much more than others. And what does that mean? That means you'll be successful. You'll get the higher grades. You'll get the better business. You'll be the person who will have a happy, inshallah, family. You'll be the person who is achieving so much success in their life because you understood how to unlock your energy, your focus, and time. And what does this mean? It also means that as a Muslim, you're getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because ultimately you're doing all of this to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're not just living a mediocre life, you're living your best life. I mean, guys, we only have one life to live. It's not like we're going to have multiple lives. We're going to have one life to live. So let's make the most of them. Every day you waste, every day you don't focus, every day you lose your energy, that's a day wasted. That's a day that's never going to come back. But if you really invest in how to maximize your energy, maximize your focus, maximize your time towards beneficial goals in every single role, whether you're a mother, whether you're a student, whether you're a father, whether you are a volunteer, whether you are, a neighbor, any role in life, you're maximizing the potential. You're doing so much. You are becoming this amazing, powerful person who's achieving so much in so little time. Just think about the impact this will have on your life. Just think about the power this will have in your life. I've seen people transform their lives completely by understanding the science. They understood that this is how I can operate at peak performance, and they achieved success in their life, and for Muslim also in the hereafter. So I want you to think about this. It's not about just some nice, cool workshop. It's about really, this is impactful stuff. We need to be very, very cognizant of it. Any questions so far? Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Don't you think that the ability of the person who is intending towards the beneficial goal is left out? The
Say
ability,
again.
the
Sorry, I didn't hear
capability,
you.
the
Say
talent,
Say it again.
the talent, the capability or the ability of the person who is striving to be productive on that age.
Okay, so you're talking about is talent a factor? Okay, let me give you two examples. Someone who's very talented. Let's say we have two writers, two authors. Okay, one author is really talented, but he's lazy. Another author is not so talented, but he or she is willing to put the energy, the focus, and time to writing every day. Take this over 10, 30, 40 years. Who will really become the really best author? Who will sell more books? Who will become a successful writer? Probably the second writer. Even though the talent's not there yet, but because they're putting the energy, the focus, and the time in that vocation, they're becoming much more successful. The other person who thinks, hey, I'm naturally talented, I'm really good, I don't need to practice, I can just write in the morning, whatever, one day. Fine, they might be really talented, but over a lifetime, they might not produce as much work, they might not be as successful, and they might not, really make the most of the talent Allah has given them. That's why a sense of gratitude. If you know you have a talent, and Allah blessed you the talent, your sense of gratitude should drive you to saying, how can I be productive? How can I make sure I do not waste this talent and make the most out of it? Is that clear? Okay. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Supposing that I have a big number of opportunities, for example, and then you'd like to make the best choice for yourself, what would be the factors to consider?
Okay.
So as not to regret.
Okay. That is a completely different topic on visions and workshop and goals, because that's about making smart choices on what exactly you work hard. My role today is to say, assuming you already know what you're focusing on, how can you go there faster? So I understand your question, but because of time, we have a lot of content. We won't be going into how to choose your goals, because that's a completely different topic. But what I will be going to is once you have decided your goals, how to get there faster. Is that okay? Because just for the sake of the workshop. Thank you. Okay. So there's three spheres of productivity. The first sphere is spiritual productivity. We'll talk about this in a minute. How does your spirituality boost your productivity? What I mean by this is how getting closer to God, how does getting closer to Allah actually makes you more productive? Because remember, we're not just human beings that are made of body and flesh. We're also spiritual beings. We have a soul. We have a ruh, a soul that's been entered in our bodies. So this ruh, this soul, it has some kind of energy inside it. If you don't feed this soul, if you don't give this soul the food, nutrition, the care, you'll almost like holding yourself down. So just like your body needs food, just like your body needs sleep, just like your body needs to exercise, we'll talk about them today, inshallah, your soul also needs food. Your soul also needs you need to nourish your soul with praying, with worship, with getting closer to Allah, with charity, with doing things that are good for your soul. And those things have an impact on your productivity. Those things have a real, it's not some theoretical, good feel, woohoo stuff. It actually has a real impact on your productivity. And that's when we talk about spiritual productivity. The second sphere is physical productivity. And this is the one people normally cover, which is how to manage your sleep, how to manage your nutrition, and how to manage your fitness to boost productivity. We'll spend a lot of time in the afternoon to talk about those three things. Finally, social productivity. And social productivity is basically how being among other people, having a team, with your family, being productive in your own social circles, that also boosts productivity. Like, don't be a hermit, you, yourself, and I. You need to be socially productive as well. So these are three spheres of productivity. So to put the framework together, the Productive Muslim framework is that You're going to make smart choices, which we'll talk about today, in your energy, your focus, and time, in order to live a spiritually, physically, and socially productive lifestyle, so that you can achieve your ultimate goal of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the foundation of this framework is this phrase: have sincere intentions and work hard. I was once blessed to have met an amazing scholar, and I went to his home and I asked him for advice. He said to me one line: have good intentions and work hard. That is the formula for success. Have good intentions and work hard. And notice, don't worry about the outcome. The outcome is not up to you. A lot of us get stressed. We're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? It's too much work. Don't worry. You have the good intentions. You work hard. Don't worry about the outcome. The outcome is not up to you. Upon you is the intention and the hard work. Just like the farmer. The farmer, he puts in the seeds. He waters the plant. He works in his land. And he doesn't know the outcome. Sometimes good season where the fruit comes bearing. Sometimes a bad season. He doesn't worry about the outcome. It's not up to him. Up to him is to do what he can do. It's his good intentions, do his best, and work hard. And that's the foundation of this framework. Any questions on this framework? Any questions? Okay. What is not productivity? Sometimes it's easy to understand something by understanding the opposite of it. Because we have misconceptions, the three main misconceptions about productivity. The first misconception is that productivity is not an event. You don't wake up in the morning, I'm productive today, right? It's a process. It's a process, meaning you are constantly trying to improve your productivity. This one workshop will not transform you overnight. There's a lot you'll learn here, but you'll need to constantly try to improve every aspect, your energy, your focus, and time, until you reach a point where you're like, now I get it. Now I reach a point where I feel like my productivity is improving. It's not about one-offs. It's not about having this amazing, 1 week you're productive, then the rest of the year you're not productive. It's about making those constant improvements. Secondly, productivity is not hard. It really isn't. It's not about learning some really hard skill. It's not rocket science. There's some very simple basic rules that we'll cover today. Very simple. So it's not hard, it's not rocket science, it's very easy to become productive. And it's actually quite fun. Because when you're productive, you're not stressed. Have you ever noticed the productive Muslim logo guy, which is in the logo here? Is the guy who's like super relaxed. Let me show you the logo. People ask me, he doesn't look very productive, does he? Right? He's so relaxed. Whoops. He's so relaxed, he's chilling, drinking a cup of coffee. He doesn't look stressed. People say, Muhammad, that does not look productive at all. I'm like, exactly. He's so productive that he knows when to chill and relax. He's not stressed. He knows when to work hard, when to play hard, when to relax. He knows when to take it easy, because everything is in its place. Everything is in its own place, rightful place. It's not stressful. So being productive is not about, oh my God, I'm stressed all the time. Being productive is about basically knowing when to have fun, knowing when to work hard. Finally, being productive is not about being busy. If someone tells me, Muhammad, I am busy, I tell them that means you're not productive. Because someone who's busy, I'm busy all the time, that just tells me this person does not manage their time, does not manage their energy, and does not manage their focus properly. This person either is not choosing their goals properly, or their energy, focus, and time is whack. So when you are organized, when you know exactly what you focus on, what not to focus on, when you're not being busy. So it's not about being an event, it's not hard, and it's not about being busy. It's about getting the right things at the right time, and we'll explain inshallah ta'ala how. Yeah. Thank you. Increase. Seems some of it works, some it doesn't work. not very clear. Some audio is coming through, some audio is not coming through. Anyway. Okay, you get the gist of the cartoon though. So the idea is that prayer does increase your energy. We'll talk about spiritual energy in a minute. This next one about waking up early. Let's see if this one works. Wow. Okay. Alrighty. So we'll try to fix the audio during the break, inshallah ta'ala. But just to get the idea. Okay, we'll definitely replay these again, inshallah, with the audio once the audio is working. Okay, let's start now with spiritual productivity. And spiritual productivity is basically the idea of how does your spirituality boost your productivity? How does getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the feedback? How does getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala improve your productivity? Can you just reduce the feedback, please? There's a feedback in the audio. Okay. So, how does spirituality boost your productivity? What is that link between being spiritual and getting close to Allah and being productive? And the word that kind of summarizes the link is the word of barakah. Barakah, if those who understand, what is barakah? What is barakah? Someone can explain what barakah is? Blessings, what else? Okay, so it's a blessing bestowed by Allah. Okay, so what I want to talk is barakah. The scholars say barakah is the attachment of divine goodness to a thing, so that if it occurs in something little, it increases it. For example, if there's barakah in your time, if Allah puts barakah in your time, you might have so much little, you have little time, but you achieve so much. If Allah puts barakah in your small home, you might have a very small house. You live in a very small house, but you live very happy with your family. If Allah puts barakah in your 1986 Corolla, right? It still runs fine. No one's complaining. It runs like a horse. No worries about it. So barakah is when Allah attaches, if Allah puts barakah in your sleep, you might sleep for a few hours, but you wake up feeling, very fresh. So barakah is like that spiritual divine attachment to a thing. So if it occurs in something little, it increases it. For example, you might have little money. You have much money, but you give away some in charity. Allah puts barakah in that. Suddenly with your money, the money you have, you, get so much more done with it. It goes longer, it stretches longer with you. Versus you might have lots of money, but there's no barakah. The barakah is removed. You feel you're wasting. Money just keeps on, you spending it. You're like, where did my money go? That's barakah being removed. Same thing with time, anything. So if Allah attaches barakah to something, if it occurs something little, it increases it. And if it occurs in something much, it benefits. And the greatest fruits of barakah is to use that barakah in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, barakah is like, I call the secret sauce of a productive Muslim. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts barakah in your time, you can have the most amazing time management techniques, the most amazing time management tools. But if that barakah is not there, you cannot get much done with your time. If Allah puts barakah in your time, you get so much done. And you're like, subhanAllah, I didn't expect to get this much done. So barakah is that spiritual. So like I said, we are spiritual beings. And unfortunately, we live in a world that kind of puts down spirituality, as if it doesn't exist. But we are spiritual beings. There's a spiritual side to us. We need to acknowledge it, appreciate it, and invest in it. Just like we take care of our bodies, we clean our bodies, we eat healthy food, we exercise, we sleep. That's all part of taking care of the body, the physical being. We need to take care of our souls. And taking care of our soul brings the barakah, because it brings Allah's pleasure. When Allah is pleased with you, you get so much done in so little time. So that's the importance of barakah. The question is, well, how do I find barakah? Where is barakah? Can I see your worksheets, please? Okay. So, have you guys heard of Pokemon Go? Who's heard Pokemon Go? Come on, you know what Pokemon Go is. Who has heard Pokemon Go game? The game, Pokemon Go? Anybody? Okay, some of you might know it. So it's about finding these weird virtual creatures on the streets. But we're going to play a game called Barakah Go. Okay? I want you to look at this sheet in front of you. It's called Barakah Go, which I'll give you back in a minute. And just fold it in half, okay? Just fold this sheet in half. So both sides exactly the same. Now, on this sheet, you'll see 21, what we call 21 sources of barakah. These are 21 ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, or Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, that increases barakah in your day. These 21 sources are, number one, good intentions. So having good intentions increases the barakah in your life. Piety and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're pious and if you do stuff out of piety of God, that brings barakah in your life. Trust in God. When you put your trust in Him and you work hard, do your best, but then you put your trust in Allah, that brings barakah. Reciting the Quran itself is a source of barakah. Remembering God by glorifying Him, by praising Him, that's a source of barakah. Eating with people, if you sit and eat together, that brings barakah in that meal. Making dua, supplication, praying, supplicating to God, that brings barakah. Earning a halal income, meaning earning an income that is permissible. So you're not earning it from, I don't know, running a casino, running something that is impermissible. You're earning from a halal source. You're earning from something that's halal. That brings barakah to your wealth and brings barakah to your family. Being grateful. Allah says, وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. When you are thankful to me, I will increase you. That increase is barakah. Charity. Giving in charity is a source of barakah. Going on Hajj or Umrah. So if some of you made it to Hajj or Umrah to Mecca, that is a source of barakah. Tying the ties of kinship, meaning getting close to your relatives, your family, and spending. There's a study done by Harvard University which lasted for 76 years. It was a very, very long study. And there's a great TED talk about it. He said that the number one factor that determines happiness in this life is your relationship with your family and friends. The number one factor that determines happiness in this life is your relationship with your family and friends. It's a very powerful, after 76 years of the study, it's come down to this: tying the ties of kinship, being close to your family, making sure you have a good relationship with your family. Waking up early, we'll talk about this today, how to wake up early, but waking up early is a source of barakah. Yesterday in my khutbah, my Friday khutbah, I said that the Prophet taught us, بُورِكَ لِأُمَّتِ فِي بُكُورِهَا, the early hours are blessed for my nation. So that's the source of barakah. Marriage is a source of barakah. When you have two people come together and they bring their sustenances together into one household, that's a source of barakah. Salah, prayer, is a source of barakah. Going to blessed places like mosques, places that are blessed, is a source of barakah. Blessed times like Ramadan, blessed times like the last hour on Friday. These are blessed times. The day of Arafah. These are times that bring barakah. Avoiding any sinful activities, sinful activities that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is whether it's alcohol, adultery, or gambling, or anything that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that also brings barakah to your life. Seeking knowledge. So today you're here seeking knowledge. This is a source of barakah. The angels are right now lowering their wings because those who seek knowledge, Allah is pleased with them, and that brings barakah. Planting trees is a source of barakah. If you want to bring more happiness to your home, more happiness to your household, plant trees. Plant in your room. Have a plant in your office. It really brings barakah because that plant is remembering God, and you're taking care of it. It is remembering God as well. So plant trees. And finally, helping others, being helpful to others is a source of barakah. So what I want you to do is spend just 2-3 minutes asking yourself, how many of these sources am I currently catching? How many of these sources am I currently tapping into? Maybe in the last 24 hours or in the last 1 week, how many of these sources of barakah that I've currently been, like I'm actually tapping into? Maybe you're saying, you know what, today I recited Quran, so I'll put that. Today I prayed, so I'll do salah. I wake up early every day, so I'll do waking up early. I'm in this workshop, so seeking knowledge is one of them. So how many of these sources are you currently tapping into? Just 2-3 minutes. Mark on the sheet. So mark on your sheets. Just, go through your sheets and like how many of the source of barakah are you currently tapping into? Okay. Just mark your papers. Give you a mark. Yeah. Just mark your papers. Mark this worksheet. How many of these are you tapping into? Yeah. Mark the sheets. Write down what you're working on. Okay. Just mark on the sheet how many of these you're tapping into right now. What are you doing right now? Okay. Okay, any thoughts, any reflections so far? When you did this exercise, what came to your mind? Any thoughts? Or any questions? Yes, please.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I wanted to know, does it include the number of times you do them, or even if you do them once in a while?
So right now, this is just does not include the number of times you do them, but just the idea of are you doing them or not. Now, ideally, the more of these you bring into your life, the more you're attracting barakah into your life. So the idea is it's like a fountain, right? The more you drink from it, the more you'll see the benefit of this fountain. But the less you drink from it, the less you go to get this source of barakah, you'll not tap. So if you feel like, I don't feel barakah in my life, right? I feel like I'm always stressed, my money doesn't last, I have issues with my family, what am I missing? Tap into the source of barakah. You'll see that will attract that spiritual energy you're looking for. Any other questions? Any thoughts? Yes, please.
Barakallahu feek wa jazakallah khair. We are very grateful for having known the sources of barakah, but I request that we also know the things that nullify barakah, because you may be doing things simultaneously. One bring barakah, another one nullifying it.
Good question. So the question is, what nullifies barakah? The simple answer is sins. Any sinful activity, anything that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can think of anything that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether small or major sins, they have an impact. They remove barakah. So what you want to do is have more of this good stuff in your basic daily activity, and try to, like backbiting, even small, like backbiting, lying, things like, those things reduce barakah. Lying in trade, there's anything that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the barakah destroyer. And the antidote of that is to seek forgiveness, is asking Allah for forgiveness. That's the antidote for that. Okay, good. So what I want you to do is that on one sheet you had is what you are currently doing. On the other sheet, so on the other side, take this back to your family. Take this back to your family, and sit down with your family and ask them, hey, what are we doing as a family? How many of these are we tapping into? How can we bring more barakah in our home? How can we bring more barakah into this family? And really just sit with your family and saying, which one of these are we making the most of? Maybe we should give more in charity as a family. Maybe we should be helping others as a family. Maybe we should try to reduce some of the things we're doing that are perhaps displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as family. So try to really have this conversation among your family, and then bring the barakah, to bring the barakah not just for yourself, but as a family as well. So on the other side, that's one of your homeworks, is to look at the other source of barakah, inshallah. Any questions? Yep.
So you've said, Assalamu alaikum, and you've said that this is like a fountain, yeah? So how does one know that, because it's a kind of mixed question, how does one know that I am receiving barakah? Or what if you're doing all this and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still decides to test you with tests and kind of tribulations?
Very, very good question. So, how do you know that you now have barakah? How do you know that barakah has entered your life? There are three ways that barakah can enter your life. The first way is, I call it an increase. Meaning, for example, an increase in your wealth, or an increase in your time, or an increase in your, an increase, let's say, in your business, an increase in your family, an increase, some kind of increase that happens in yourself. That's the source of barakah. And an increase is not stressful. You know, some people have like big families, like, oh my God, I'm so stressed about it. But some people have big families, it's like, hey, alhamdulillah, I'm not stressed about it. So it's an increase that is peaceful. The second thing, another way to know if barakah is there is continuity. So it's not just, maybe there's no increase, right, in your provisions, but it's continuous. You never have this start and stop. You don't have this feast. A project you started for 10, 15 years, it still continues till today. That's a source of barakah. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed it to continue is a source of barakah. Maybe you have a small halaqah that you do every Friday, for example. And that halaqah, that study circle, has been going on for years. That's barakah. That the fact that it still continues today. Maybe it's not increasing, maybe it's not getting bigger, but the fact it's continuing, that's another sign of barakah. The third point is stability. Because the Arabs say barak al-jamal, the camel has sat down, right? And when the camel is sat, it's stable. So when you have, let's say, stable marriages, stable homes, stable business, stability is also a source of barakah. So either it's an increase, or continuity, or stability. These are the three ways that barakah manifests itself. So that's the answer to your first question on how does barakah manifest itself. It barakah through increase, through stability, through continuity. Now, you're saying, well, what if I do everything I'm doing on this thing and I still feel tested, right? There are two answers to that. The first answer is that if you're doing all these things, if you have the right intentions and you work hard and you do all this on that, all this source of body, you're doing everything you can, then yes, that test that you've been given is a way to increase in your ranks. One scholar, I asked him, like, how do I know if when a bad situation happens to me, how do I know if this is a test or if it's a punishment? How do I know the difference? And he said, number one, whether it's a test or a punishment, you should always seek forgiveness. That's number one. Number two, if your heart is at rest, let's say, God forbid, you lost a child, or God forbid, your business failed, or God forbid, you failed your exam, something really bad happened to you. How do I know if a test was a punishment? If it's a test saying, well, I know that I've done everything, I've had good intentions, I've worked hard, I did everything I can, and my heart is feeling restful. I'm not stressed about this. I'm like, okay, this is a test, alhamdulillah. I'm not feeling that, why, and I'm really pulling out my hair and like really crying out. I'm really accepting. It hurts, it's tough, but I'm accepting it. Versus when it's a punishment, you just feel so like, you just go crazy, you go nuts about it. And that's kind of the difference between the two. Does that help? Any question? Yeah. We have to...
Jazakallah khair. Do you think it is right for a person to set the niyyah to get barakah besides set the niyyah for reward? Because sometimes when you the niyyah you set may decide whether Allah tests you or not. Jazakallah khair.
Asking for barakah is actually a source of barakah. Asking for barakah is a source of barakah. So that's why there's a story that Anas ibn Malik, when he was a young child, the mother of Anas ibn Malik took Anas to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, make dua for my son, pray for my son." The Prophet ﷺ raised his hand and said, "Allahumma barik lahu fi ahlihi wa malih." O Allah, bless him in his wealth and in his family. Anas wa umrih, and also in his age. Anas ibn Malik became the longest living Sahabi among all the Sahaba. He lived up to close to over 100. Some people said close to 100 or up to over 100. Secondly, he said he was the wealthiest Sahabi. He became very, very rich at the end of his life. Thirdly, his family was so large, he said that my children and grandchildren are almost 100. So the Prophet ﷺ prayed for barakah in his life, prayed for him to get barakah. So you can ask for barakah. You can ask Allah, Allah, give us barakah. In fact, I recommend that you should not ask Allah, give me a good job. Give me barakah in my job. Don't say, oh Allah, give me a spouse, or give me a barakah in my family. Don't say, oh Allah, give me, I want $100 million. Say, give me barakah in my wealth. Because barakah, if it's there, it's sweet, it's beautiful, it lasts longer, it's more pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, versus just something comes and goes. That's okay? Final question before we move on. Any question? Yeah. Okay, so number two, the difference between number two and number three. Number two is piety and trust, piety and belief in Allah. So we'll talk about that in a minute right now. But trust in Allah is saying that you take all the means, you do your best, just like the Prophet ﷺ taught us, that tie your camel and have trust in Allah. So you work hard, you study hard, you do your bit, you go to work, you do everything you can, but you know that the result, the outcome is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're putting your trust in Him. It's not about you sitting back and saying, oh well, just put my trust in God and do nothing. It's saying, I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm going to put trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the trust in Allah. But belief in piety is about just the fact that you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're conscious of your decisions that you have every day, that you're doing things just to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That also source of barakah. That's the difference between the two. One is more of trusting in the results. One is more of believing in Him and making the right decisions from the first place. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about concepts that boost barakah. We'll delve more deeper in some of these 21 sources. We'll talk about a few of them because we don't have much time. But we'll talk about some of them, inshallah ta'ala. The first concept is the concept of niyyah, intention. We said that good intentions, if you look at the Barakah Go worksheet, good intentions is a source of barakah. It brings that blessing. Why is that? Because good intentions, it sets the action. For example, you set the good intention of wanting to make your parents happy. Or you set the good intentions that I want to be able to build 100 orphanages. Or you set the good intentions of I want to plant 100 trees in my neighborhood. You set a good intention, something really good. That intention will drive your action. That intention will make sure that you always focus on achieving those results. That intention, just the clarity of intention, gives clarity to your action. And that's why intention is very, very powerful. Unfortunately, we always talk about niyyah, or intention, in the context of salah, or fasting, or hajj. I want you to take this concept outside of, outside of worship and say, how can intention really help me in my work? What's my intention at work? What's my intention with my family? What's my intention for studying? What's my intention for earning this income? When you have that intention, it gives clarity to your action. You know exactly why you're doing something. And when you know the why, it drives the how and the what. So good intention is a source of barakah, because when you understand that as the Prophet ﷺ taught us, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, actions are according to their intentions. If you understand that the actions I'm doing are based on the intention, then what is those intentions? And the more clear you are with your intention, the more that this gives clarity to your actions, and therefore you become focused. Unfortunately, most of us, we go to work, or we spend time with the family, but we don't understand the intention. For example, you're with your family, no intention. Okay, I'll just spend time, I'll watch TV, I'll relax, have fun. But there's no intent. But let's say my intention is that my children become responsible adults. Therefore, every activity I do, every program they watch, every thing we do at home will always be driven by that intent. What's my intention? I want my children to become responsible adults. Therefore, I'll try my best to plan the weekends, plan the vacations, plan our programs. We'll plan it so that they get that education to make them responsible adults. If that intention is not there, this is like, oh, okay, let's go with the flow. Let's see how things go. Doesn't matter. But the fact you have intention with your family. Let's go, you go to work. What's my intention? I don't know, I'm just at work. I got a job, I get paid. That's one way of thinking. But let's say, no, my intention is that I'll become the CEO of this company in 5 years' time. My intention is that I will use the resource in this company to learn the experience out of my own company. You have a real clear intent. There's a clear reason why you're there. That intention, that why, will drive your actions, will drive how you present, will drive how you present yourself to work, will drive how you are at work. Just like, what's my intention in school? If I'm just here to get grades and just pass my exam and just survive, fine, that's the performance you'll have. But if you have intention, my intention is that these grades will help me achieve this success that I'm looking forward to achieve, that will drive you. So intentions gives clarity to actions, and it aligns your goals and your life. And that's why sometimes if your intention is not clear, you become almost like paper in the wind. You get being pulled in different directions. If you're not clear what your intention in life is, why you're here, what's your purpose, what is your intending to do, every new opportunity that comes up, you'll just grab it. Instead of thinking, well, hold on a second, is this new opportunity aligned with my goals, aligned with my intentions? Do I really care about this or not? So that's the important link to put it, is to align with the goals and purpose. So, practical tips. Write down intentions. Write down intentions. Before I came to Uganda, this workshop, I wrote down what is my intention for going to Uganda and delivering this workshop. I actually wrote that down because it's about, when you write down your intentions, it gives clarity to actions. I'm not here to entertain, I'm here to educate. I'm here to teach, to impart knowledge that is hopefully practical, useful. So write down your intention. It gives clarity to your actions and make sure that you achieve the results you want to achieve. Also review your intentions often. Don't just go through life without reviewing your intentions. Review your intentions often. Any questions so far? Yeah.
Thank you. Now, how balanced should your intentions be such that they don't stumble other people? For example, when you want your children to be productive people, you want them to be doctors and lawyers, and they want to be other things, what happens?
That's a very good question. So the clear, see, that's the clarity. When you have your intention is clear, and then you approach your children with that intent. Hey, this is my intention with you. What do you think, right? And you give them the opportunity to also have their own intentions. Then you start negotiating, right? It's not about imposing. I'm not saying impose what your intentions are, but I'm saying if there's clarity, you know what you would like them to be, and they know what they'd like to be, then it's a point for conversation. But then if they have no clue, and you have no clue, and you're just going with the flow, it's like, then you're just like, oh, I'm so disappointed in my child, or it's not what I expect it to be. But if you have intention, if you have that conversation, it's not a one-way road. It's about saying, let me have a conversation. This is my intention. This is what I like my son to be. And maybe not just, doesn't have to be a specific career. It could be just like the character. I would like my son to be, or my daughter to be a responsible, well-mannered adult. That could be, it's a general, but it means that you'll be very conscious of any activity they're involved in, who their friends are, all that stuff, because you're conscious that this is very important. You want them to become responsible, well-mannered adults. So even that intention helps shape their life as well. Is that clear? Okay. Push it back.
Thank you. I would also like to ask that sometimes you start out with a clear, good intention. Along the way, perhaps the influence of people, the environment, or Satan. And then sometimes you can start with an intention that is not so clear or not so good. And then you end up reviewing it and you make it good. So is it that you can, because you see it's very hard to, because you're supposed to be influenced sometimes. So how do you review those intentions? To make them clear or make them good if they were bad?
Very good, very good. So first of all, by writing down intentions, they're not set in stone. It's not saying, okay, sorry, my intentions are set in stone, I cannot change them. No. These intentions are a starting point. But like you said, things change. Life changes. Influences happen. Things completely different. That's why I review your intentions often. I review intentions, let's say if it's a big project, every 2 months, every 3 months, every 6 months. Review intentions often. Keep on reviewing, and that helps you. It's almost like you're trying to steer a boat, right? And every now and then you steer slightly to the right, slightly left, but you're almost clear where you're heading, which is towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But every now and then you keep on steering your boat. You have to adjust, otherwise if you don't adjust, you'll end up in a whole different direction. So review intentions often means depends on how big the project is, how big the life, it's like your children, it's like a 20-year project, right? Versus, let's say, a business might be a 3 or 5 year plan. But review intentions often. And actually, personally, I prefer having an annual review of all my intentions, all areas of my life, and really review them more thoroughly. So, for example, things like reviewing your, family life, social life, your Islamic, how you Muslim, as a Muslim, how well are you performing? All those things need to be reviewed, because if you don't review them, like saying, if you go with the flow, you will not be happy where you end up. Yeah. Okay. So that's with the first, which is intention. The second one, it is taqwa, which is piety in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taqwa, the definition that I personally like to use is to be constantly conscious of Allah, of God's presence and attributes. What do I mean by this? When you go through life and you're really conscious of making the right decisions that are always pleasing to God, that brings barakah. And that develops discipline. You see, disciplined people are those who can say no to things. Disciplined people are those who, when they're tempted, they're like, yes, might be a really good offer, but no thank you. And that discipline develops strength. And that strength develops nobility. We live in a society now, we live in a world today that it kind of encourages you to say, hey, live your life, do whatever you can. Doesn't matter, who cares, right? We live in society because it's easier. It's more, more immediate, more pleasurable. But regardless of whether you believe in or not, regardless whether you think it's haram or not, but just think about it. If you're always somebody who just anything that seems nice or attractive, you just go with it, and not hold yourself disciplined, you really become this hedonistic person, this consumerist person that's not really engaged, that's not really has principles and values to live by. And that's why it's so important that faith and deen and religion gives you those principles, gives you those values, and taqwa is how you practice it. It's like saying, taqwa is like you going, as Umar Khattab said, it's like going through a bush that has thorns and you're kind of being really careful not to get pricked. That's taqwa. So what's that link to productivity? Like I said, it develops that discipline. You're saying, no, I know that I should be doing this because Allah does not like this. And you're saying no. Whether it's something small as someone offering you a bottle of beer, or something large as somebody offering you a job which you know the source of income is not halal, for example. So develop that discipline, that strength to say no. And it builds a personal brand. There was a story of a man who used to leave his office, go and pray in the mosque opposite his office, and then come back. And every day he counted how many minutes, what time he left, what time he came back, and how many minutes he was outside of his office. At the end of the month, he went to his manager and said, please deduct 2 days from my salary. And the manager said, why? You were here every day. He said, because I counted the number of minutes that I was coming back for the whole month, and they came about 2 working days. So basically, I feel I don't want to earn out of taqwa, out of piety to Allah. I do not want to earn an income that I am not a rightful owner. The manager, just think about it. The manager is so impressed by this trust, this personal brand. This person, do you think this person will ever cheat? Will you think this person will ever steal from this guy or boss? He will never, because he's constantly conscious of Allah's presence and attributes. So it builds a personal brand. People can trust you. And trust me, in today's world, trust is a very, very, very important currency. We live in a world that people, amana, the Prophet ﷺ taught that amana, trust, will be the first thing that will be removed from this world. People cannot trust each other anymore. And that destroys economies, that destroys businesses, that destroys families when there's no trust. So when someone says, no, this person, I know they're trustworthy because they're someone who fears Allah. They're not somebody who just, if there's an opportunity to steal, they'll steal. There's someone who really has that fear. That builds a personal brand. So it develops discipline and strength. So practical tips, being conscious of God, knowing who He is. I made an exercise once with young children in the UK. I asked them, tell me, who is Allah? And they're like, God. Okay, who's He? God. I'm like, yeah, but who is He? And it was stuck. I'm like, tell me who is God? Describe Him to. And they just looked blank. And I said, just go home and write an essay of who is Allah. And they went back, and I came back, I always had tears in my eyes because they wrote pages and pages. Because for the first time ever, it's like they really thought about who is Allah. When you really understand who is Allah, who is God, it brings this concept to life, because now you're thinking, if that's Him, then what am I doing to please Him? What am I doing to displease Him? And how can I be closer to Him? Because it brings you closer to Him, and you're more conscious of His presence and attributes. And really, it makes you live that disciplined, noble, conscious, pious life. So finally, make taqwa-based decisions. Like, you'll be tested. You'll be offered things. You'll be asked to do things which are not very comfortable. There's a story of a man who used to run a hotel in somewhere in Egypt. And that hotel used to sell alcohol. And he felt very uncomfortable about this because he felt that this is something that Allah does not like to sell alcohol. So he asked the sheikh, he's like, I'm the manager, I'm not actually at the bar, I'm just at the management position. Is it possible for me, to still be the manager of my hotel? He said, you are the manager, you are responsible. You will be questioned about selling alcohol in your hotel. So he felt very bad, so he decided to make a taqwa-based decision, and he quit his job. Now, first month, bills not being paid, his family is getting stressed. Second month, no job, he can't find another job. Third month, no job, he was getting really stressed. He was thinking, I might go back. In the fourth month, he got an offer for a job to be the hotel manager of a hotel that's in Medina, opposite the Prophet's mosque. So he made a taqwa, and that's why Allah says in the Quran, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And whoever has taqwa, whoever has fear, whoever has consciousness of God, God will make a way out for him. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. You're thinking, why quit your job? You have a really good job. You're being paid so well. Why quit your job? Just to, because you feel it's haram. And then you make that decision out of closeness to God, out of being conscious to Him, and you'll be rewarded something 10 times better. So sometimes this taqwa-based decision might not be easy to understand, might not be logical, but when you know that you're doing this to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's how you bring barakah into your life. Any questions on taqwa? Any questions on taqwa? Okay. Yep.
I'm very happy with this program, but I need more clarification on this personal brand. Doing first.
Trust and personal brand. When I say that when somebody always makes decisions that wants to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you start to trust him because you know this person is not doing things just to make quick money or trying to cheat you. You know this person is someone who's God conscious. You can trust them. You will give them more position. I have people on my team who I know when they tell me off or they give me feedback or when they say, they're not saying it just out of their own egos. They're saying it genuinely because they fear God. So it builds a personal brand because we live in a world today, because there's so many people around us, how do you stand out? How do you stand out in your work? How do you stand out in school? You stand out by if you're somebody who makes always conscious, you always make the right decisions. You're not somebody who easily gets bribed or easily gets, tries to be attracted to things that are not appropriate. You're someone who's a very, very respectable, noble, is a person, there's someone like, wow, that person, they might not agree with you. They might not say, oh, this guy is too much. But they say, man, this person, mashallah, this person there's something about them. He's on time. He's disciplined. He stays true to the contract. He's somebody who's, why? Because this person really is a God person, a conscious person. So it builds a brand around you. And that brand, people hear about you. Next thing you know, people will be fighting for you. They'll be like, hey, I want this guy to come work in my company because this person is someone I can trust. So it builds a personal brand. It's like if you run a contracting company or factory, and you are somebody who's always on time, and you deliver on time, and you stay true to the contract. You don't sort of try to make the person feel uncomfortable. That's a brand. People will leave someone who may be cheaper and come to you. Maybe you might be more expensive, but because they know, hey, I know I can work with this person I can trust. So it builds a personal brand out of having taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So let's now take a half an hour break. We will come for a break until, I guess, 11:55 and then start on the next inshallah ta'ala. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm here on this inshallah ta'ala. Feel free to come and ask me. And jazakumullah khair, and we'll see you in half an hour. Assalamu alaikum.
You held my hand to steady me till I was ready to make a stand on my own.
كلمتان حبيبتان إلى الرحمن خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان سبحان الله وبحمده